You know, I'm not a petty person particularly, and I don't believe much in telling you I told you so. Except for when it comes to sports. Because I absolutely told you guys about Michael Penix. And I told you guys, wait until the end of the season wasn't over yet, and we still had a chance to make the playoffs. Look at us now. We in the hunt. You were crying like a bunch of little sniveling C-Mo to C. Mitchell checking in with another Week 17 deep dive bird bath. Today we're going to break down some of the key components of the Commanders game coming up. And we're going to get right into it, man. The Falcons are playing the Commanders, and for all intents and purposes this week in Washington, this is a playoff game. Both teams right now, Commanders and Atlanta, we need this win. The Commanders, they're a pretty good team, and this is a Dan Quinn team for better or worse. Offensively, they've been pretty good all year. They have the de facto Rookie of the Year. They're not afraid to throw the ball around the yard with Jaden Daniels. He's a guy that can make any pass that you want. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. They say he actually scrambles more than any quarterback in the league. Most of their running attack comes from Jaden Daniels. He has about 700 yards on the year. They're not really good running the ball other than him. Although they do have a very tough running back in Brian Robinson, a guy who was shot and came back and still played the same season. And the guy that shot him was robbing him for his car. And so he lived to tell about it. So that tells you enough about what he is as a football player. But very pass happy, run a lot of RPO. Jaden Daniels is the biggest thing that is the difference on their offense. We're going to have to make sure that we're very disciplined with our rushing lanes this week. It was like 3rd and long, and he ran and picked it up. So those are the type of things that have hurt us with rushing quarterbacks this year that I think that they would definitely try to exploit. If we're not careful, this game could get away with us with him actually just taking over it with his legs. That being said, I think that we can actually go out here and do some things with coverages, disguise some things. Raheem is one of the best defensive minds when it comes to rolling coverages. And Jimmy Lake's been doing a pretty good job with adjustments all year. He also can hurt you with the blitz, getting out of your rushing lanes. One thing that we can do, we can stunt, twist, and their team seems to have a little bit of problems with that. Jaden Daniels is actually the 7th most sacked quarterback in the league. So that's a place that we might be able to potentially exploit. If we blitz, we got to make sure we're definitely getting there, though. Their best player is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin can give any cornerback in the league problems. They definitely manufacture touches for him. Something that I wish we actually did with a specific player we have, but we won't go there. He's a guy that can really take the top off of the defense. A full and complete receiver, and honestly, he's one of the most underrated good receivers in the league. They have a lot of plays that are really set up to have the same motion and the same action on their run plays as their passing plays when they get the ball to Terry. We gotta make sure we're not going for all the smoke and mirrors that they try to throw at you. Other than McLaurin, they're not as strong with their number 2 or 3 wide receivers, so that's not to say that they can't hurt us. But specifically in terms of passing, he's their main guy. Out of the backfield, they also do a little bit of damage with their running backs as well. That has been a problem for us this year, but I'm very interested to see what we're going to do with J.D. Bertrand. He's actually coming in for Troy Anderson, and as a possibility, he might be able to be a future 3-down linebacker all the way around. And as far as our offense, yardage-wise, we're one of the best offenses in the league. The biggest problem has been with us scoring earlier this year, and that's been largely because of some of the turnovers and the mistakes that we've had. I'm looking to see what our rookie's going to do this week. While I don't want to put it all on his shoulders, I do definitely think that we need to be running the ball, and we need to give a heavy dose of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier regardless of what they do. If they're able to stop the run, we got to keep them honest. We got to keep them wondering and guessing because Bijan's the type of running back that can break one off at any given point in time. But that's going to help the rookie out a lot at quarterback. He looked very poised in the pocket last week, and even though it was the Giants, they do have some pretty good pass rushers. I think that as long as we keep running the ball, it'll help Michael Penix on play action. He's really great from what I saw last week. We actually ran a lot more because Penix can actually get away from the pass rush. So that's something that we weren't able to do with Kirk, and the offensive playbook is going to be open a lot more. I know he didn't run a whole lot in college, but now this is the pros, and basically this is a playoff game right now. He seemed to be a little bit more comfortable doing that last week. That's something that if I was watching it, I'd definitely keep an eye on. Last week when they played Philly, Kenny Pickett actually gave him a little bit of trouble picking up some first downs on some of their scrambles, as well as Jalen Hurts before he went out of the game. I think that's a place that we could definitely exploit and keep the chains moving. Washington is very much a bend but don't break defense. On the back end, Chin is really good out there at safety, and they have Lattimore, but they don't have any just bona fide studs on their defense at this given point in time. Dante Fowler's actually been having a really good season. He has like 9.5 sacks this year, but he's one of those guys that run at him. But the biggest key, I think, this week is going to come down to coaching and who makes the least amount of mistakes. These are two teams that are almost as evenly matched. Dan Quinn's teams are not always the most disciplined. As a matter of fact, last week they should have lost that game, but Philly actually let them back in it with their own mistakes. I think it hurt them a lot having Jalen Hurts go out of the game early on. They weren't able to take some of the same risks that they would take on some of the fourth downs with the tush push and some of that type of stuff. Having somebody like Michael Penix, I think that changes up our play calling a lot as well too. So as long as we come out here and be disciplined and not have penalties, I think that that's going to be one of the biggest determining factors. And situationally, I'm really hoping that Zach can really put our guys in the best position. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 or 5 sometimes. He has a propensity to definitely go away from the run and pass in those situations. And I feel as though if you're watching tape, you get a little bit predictable with that. This is a pretty good coach team fundamentally, but they will make mistakes. So we guys got to go out here and play our brand of football. I think our best chance to win is running the ball and hoping that we could put their rookie quarterback in some bad positions to make some mistakes. And if we just stay disciplined, I think that we have a really good chance. I believe our rookie is very poised. That remains to be seen how he deals with the pressure. This is going to be his second game out of the gates, but I believe he's going to be poised. He's been used to big boy football before. So I think if we keep the team honest and we don't get them teeing off on our rookie quarterback, we'll do very well. That's our show for today. C-Mo to C. Mitchell, Point Game Official, checking out. Peace.